Hey everybody, welcome back to Jon David's Journey. Today we actually had quite a bit happen. However, I don't have a whole lot of pictures or videos of all the things that happened, primarily because it was with other people and I don't necessarily have all of their permission to do this. I don't like to post other people unless I have their permission, so if I don't have their permission, I'm not posting. But that being said, last night was not a good night for Jon David. About 4 a.m. he maxed out all of his oxygen support. The respiratory therapist woke me up and told me, like, hey, this is where we're at. If he doesn't respond to this, then kind of the next step would be going back on the ventilator, going back on BiPAP, and moving back over to the ICU because the ventilator is an automatic admission back over there across the hallway. And then, so that's kind of where we were. Luckily, he did respond to the increased oxygen, which was 100% at 8 liters, which is his max over here. If he goes beyond that, then they can't keep him over here in the step-down unit. They have to move him over there. And so between that, and they also gave him a spot dose of diarrheal because it was looking like he had some fluid on his belly. If you remember yesterday, they made his BMX, which is his diuretic that makes him pee and helps him get fluid off. They made that intraoral, meaning in through his mouth versus going in through his IV. And so sometimes when they do that, it can be a little different in terms of how their body reacts to it. And obviously his wasn't getting rid of the fluid quite as easily. And so because of that, they gave him a spot dose of diarrheal. He responded to it, increased his oxygen, and then throughout the day, he's been able to work his way back down. Now he is 6 liters over 60%. So in a much better spot than what he was at 4 a.m. Also today, they weaned his methadone a little bit, with the plan being that they'll kind of see the results tomorrow and kind of gauge on what to do. They're also going to try and start weaning maybe some of the clonidine tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be starting on our weans and kind of moving our way in that direction. Hopefully he doesn't step any more back because we don't have a whole lot of room to step back. But the good news is if we do step back, the worst that'll happen is we just slide back across the hall and we know all the people there and they're going to take good care of us and it's going to be okay. So either way, it's going to be fine. But we're hoping and praying for steps forward and that he doesn't take those steps back. He also had occupational therapy today, and something that we had not even considered. It's something we did a lot with Hunter. However, we really haven't considered it with him because, you know, open heart surgery, you know, chest being open, scar, all that good stuff. So the occupational therapist was like, yeah, well, haven't you done like skin to skin time? Like when was his chest closed? She found out the date and said, yeah, go ahead and do it. And so we have gotten like 3 to 4 hours of chest to chest time today, and it has been really good. You'll see that in some of the clips here. And he has really responded well to it. She was saying one of the reasons why we actually did it was because he had been desaturating a little bit last night and then even in today some. And she said that typically the skin to skin time actually helps them with their oxygen saturation. And as you'll see in some of these clips and the photos, it really did. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure like all these numbers are off, that there's a discrepancy. But at one point, he hit 100. So we're gonna take the win. We're gonna be happy with it, and we're gonna keep doing skin to skin time every day, like every single day. So we also got some visits from some of his cardiac family. We have started calling that the people here who've wanted to adopt him and become part of the cardiac family. And some of them we've kind of forced into being the cardiac family because they don't have a choice. They saved his life, so they're just always going to be his aunts and uncles. So we got his Aunt Jen, who is Dr. Sherwin. She was there the night that he coded. We have Uncle Andrew, which I talked about last night, also there the night that he coded and the night that he stroked. And then we also have Aunt Ruby, which is his auntie who has been a nurse and had him. And even when she doesn't have him, she comes by and holds him and sees him and talks to him. She actually was the one who came and talked to him today when we told her that he had not been doing all that well and that he had a bad night. And she told him to get his stuff together. And he has since, and his stats have gone up. So he listens to his Aunt Ruby. Hunter had a good day at daycare and with his Aunty A at home and along with Mimi and Aunt Gigi and Auntie Sarah and Papa. So I don't have a whole lot of those photos or videos. We FaceTimed for quite a while, but he had himself a good day. I do have some pictures from daycare. And then also, our nurse last night, who was Miss Sarah, was very, very nice and made crafts for us. And so these are Mallory's. This is one for Hunter when he comes back, which he will love so much because he loves, he calls them surprises, his present. And then she made one for me as well. So we have a awesome staff here. We have wonderful nurses, and we are very thankful and blessed to be at Duke. So thank you all again for everybody for your prayers. Thank you for all you're doing. Also, I got a message from Miss Katie Haynes today, who is the leader of Smiling While Sending Hope. and she sent me a message of somebody who had made a donation and sent it to her. And so for those of you who've made donations, she's the only one that I've received a message from to know exactly who it was, and I sent a message to her thanking her. But for any of you who made donations, thank you so much. For anybody who has signed up to go donate blood, thank you so much. Again, those are very concrete ways for you to help this community, and not just our family, but the families at large, and help all these babies. So thank you all again so much for all you do. Thank you for your prayers. One last thing that I forgot to say, Duke has a support group that meets Wednesdays 1 to 2 p.m. for families on the PCICU, in order for them to kind of meet and talk about the shared experiences and kind of get through some of the trauma and all of this stress. And we went to our first one today. Thank you, Aunt Ruby, for encouraging politely for us to go. And it was very, very good. It was very helpful. We got to meet some of the other families. And for anybody who has to go through this in the future, if you are watching this, it is a wonderful way to meet other families who are going through this just like you. It's not necessarily that you will all have the same diagnoses, which pretty much everybody out there had a different diagnosis for their child. However, there are some shared experiences that you will have, such as the surgery, such as the withdrawals, coming off the ventilator, all these things that you will be able to connect over, and just, you know, the shared experience of going and being in the hospital and having the trauma of your child be here. And so it is really helpful to have that support group, to be able to have people who completely understand what you're going through. So if you are watching this and you're a future parent of a child with CHD, then again, I really encourage you to talk to your nurse and find out when they're having it. Hopefully it's still Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. If not, Sarah Johnson should be here. Ask for her. She's the one who leads it. And hope y'all have a good night and God bless.
You can't come back. You have to have your sats better. Understood? Yes, ma'am.
That was 70 a minute ago. And Jon David, tell everybody bye-bye.